So what if the secret to handling all that stress at work wasn't about trying harder, but about, well, trying a little less? Today, we're diving into a really powerful new perspective on our careers and our purpose. And it was all sparked by one surprising, kind of strange piece of advice. It's a simple idea, but trust me, it might just have the power to change everything.
We've all been there, right? I want you to picture this. You're a young developer on a make-or-break business trip to Tokyo. You're juggling high-level meetings, you're interpreting, and you are feeling the entire weight of the project on your shoulders. That pressure to succeed can be completely crushing. It's a feeling I think a lot of us know way too well. So in this super high-stakes situation, what's the game-changing advice that gets dropped? It's this. Don't try to do too well. I know. At first glance, that sounds completely backward, doesn't it? It sounds like a recipe for failure. But you gotta stick with me here because this one counterintuitive idea is the key that unlocks a whole new way of looking at our work. Let's really unpack what it means. Now, this isn't about just lowering your standards or suddenly aiming for mediocrity. Not at all. It's about something much, much deeper. It's about completely changing the ground you're standing on. Moving from that shaky, unstable foundation of pressure to the solid bedrock of gratitude. So before you even think about your performance, the very first step is to just stop and appreciate the opportunity itself. The fact that you have this job, that your company even created this business trip, that this moment exists at all. That is the real starting point. And here's the crucial part. Gratitude isn't just some passive, warm, and fuzzy feeling. It's an active skill. It's a proficiency you actually have to practice and develop. And mastering this skill, this deep sense of appreciation, is what literally unlocks your ability to grow. Without it, you're pretty much stuck in place. Okay, and this is where the whole thing just gets so much bigger. Once you start with that personal gratitude, your perspective starts to widen, and you begin to see this incredible web of connection that supports everything you do. First, but starts with your company. Right? They're the ones who created your role, the project, the trip to Japan in the first place. They provided the immediate environment for you to even do your work. That's kind of the first layer of this web. Then, let's zoom in a little. Think about your colleagues, your managers, your team. Their work makes your work possible. Every single person contributing to the company is playing a part in supporting your specific role. You're not in this alone. And then you zoom out, way out. And this is what I find so fascinating. Your work doesn't just exist in a bubble. It relies on this vast, almost invisible infrastructure of society. You know, the people cleaning the streets, the farmers growing our food, the engineers keeping the power grid running. All of their efforts are the silent foundation of everything we do. And if we take it to a global scale, in this specific story, the people of Japan, their entire history, their work, their society, they're the ones who created the very environment where this business meeting could even happen. Every single person, in some way, played a role. Which brings us to this really powerful metaphor. The distance separating your individual work from the combined effort of all of humanity is less than 0.1 millimeters. Just think about that for a second. It's basically non-existent. We are all deeply, fundamentally, and inextricably connected. You know, this way of thinking isn't even new. It's actually rooted in a traditional Korean ideal called Hongik-in-gon. It's this beautiful concept that means living and working for the broad benefit of all humanity. It's the idea that your purpose isn't just about you, but it's about how you contribute to the greater good. So, how in the world do we make this gigantic idea practical in our day-to-day lives? Well, there's a beautifully simple analogy that brings it all right down to earth. The simple act of making a cup. So the old mindset is, I make this cup to get a paycheck so I can survive. The focus is entirely on yourself, right? But the new mindset asks a totally different question. Who is going to use this cup? And just like that, the focus shifts away from you and onto service, onto contributing to someone else's life. That one little change in your intention changes absolutely everything. And if you look at the long-term results, they are dramatically different. If you work just for that paycheck, 30 years from now, you're still just making cups. You're kind of stuck in the same place. But if you work for the benefit of the person using that cup, your creativity just blossoms. You grow into a leader who finds innovative ways to serve society on a much, much larger scale. So does this mean you have to constantly beat yourself up, forcing yourself to think this way all the time? Not at all. The final piece of this whole puzzle is that true transformation happens naturally, without any strain or force. And the path to this change is surprisingly simple. First, you just absorb the idea. That's it. Don't force it, just let it sink in. And the amazing thing is, your mind will process it, and your understanding will deepen all on its own. And then, without any conscious effort, your actions and your entire mindset will naturally start to shift. It's an effortless change that comes from a new perspective. Which leads us to this final, really crucial piece of wisdom. The goal isn't to rigidly follow some new set of rules. The moment you truly absorb this perspective, this idea of gratitude and interconnectedness, you are already changing. The work is already done. So we end up right back where we started, but now with a completely new understanding. That intense pressure to do well so often comes from a narrow focus on ourselves. But when we expand our view, when we realize we're part of this vast, interconnected human effort, that pressure just kind of fades. And it's replaced by a real sense of purpose. Which leaves us with one final question to think about. Who are you really working for?